I never thought loneliness could push me into something dangerous, but that's exactly how it happened. I had just come out of a long-term relationship, 5 years of my life, gone in one night. The apartment felt too big, the silence too heavy, and I was drinking more than I should have been just to numb the ache. After weeks of wallowing, I gave in to something I swore I'd never try again. I downloaded Tinder. At first, it was what you'd expect. Endless swiping, mindless small talk, profiles that felt faker than plastic smiles. But then I matched with Elise. Her profile stopped me in my tracks. She wasn't like the others. She didn't pose with filters or staged selfies. Instead, she had 3 photos. One in front of a rustic-looking cabin, one holding a black cat, and one where she stood barefoot in the woods. Her long black hair draped over her pale shoulders. Her smile wasn't wide. It was subtle, secretive, the kind of smile that makes you want to know what she's hiding. Her bio was short. Living simply, caring for my sick mother, looking for connection. I should have seen the red flags right there. But when you're broken and lonely, red flags look like green lights. We matched instantly. Her first message was, "You look sad." I like that. Something about the way she said it made me pause. Creepy? Maybe. But also honest. And honesty felt rare. We started talking. She was quick-witted, almost too perceptive. She asked me questions no one else bothered to ask. What keeps you up at night? What's the one memory you wish you could burn? We talked for hours every night. I told her more than I've ever told anyone. It felt like she saw me. She said she lived with her sick mother in an old cabin out in the pines, far from the city, off the grid. That was why she was so hard to reach sometimes. Bad reception, she said. After about 2 weeks, she invited me over. "You've shared so much with me," she texted. "It's time I shared my world with you. I'll cook for you. You'll meet my mother. Come tomorrow night." My gut hesitated. Meet the mom already? It felt too fast. But my heart, starved for connection, overruled it. I told her yes. The next evening, I drove out of the city. Her directions led me farther and farther from anything familiar. Down cracked asphalt roads, then gravel, then dirt paths, twisting through thick walls of pine. By the time I reached her cabin, the sun was a blood-red smear sinking behind the tree line. The cabin looked like something out of a forgotten fairy tale. Old wood, slanted roof, candlelight glowing faintly from the windows. Smoke curled from a crooked chimney. Elise opened the door before I could knock. She was more beautiful in person. Tall, pale, her eyes almost too dark against her skin. She hugged me tightly, pressing her face against my neck. For a second, it felt comforting. For a second, "I'm so glad you came," she whispered, her grip lingering almost too long. Inside, the cabin smelled of pine and smoke, but underneath that was something else. Something metallic, something rotten. I tried to ignore it. The living room was cluttered with old furniture and shelves stuffed with books. The kitchen was smaller, cozier, but on the wooden counter I saw it. Raw meat. Thick slabs of it, red and glistening, just sitting there. No fridge. No ice. Just meat. I gestured toward it. "Aren't you worried it'll spoil?" Elise smiled faintly. "It's for my mother. Doctor says she needs it raw. Helps her condition." Her voice was so casual, like she just said she prefers herbal tea. I didn't know how to respond. We sat down for dinner. She served me stew that tasted oddly metallic. I forced a smile and ate a few spoonfuls. She ate nothing. We talked. Or rather, she asked questions and I answered. She listened intently, like she wanted to memorize every detail of me. When I asked about her, she was vague. "My mother hasn't left her bed in years," she said. "She can't move, can't speak, but she hears everything." Her eyes glittered strangely when she said that. At one point, Elise excused herself to check on her mother. Minutes ticked by. The silence pressed down on me, heavy and unnatural. Boredom, or maybe unease, pushed me to wander. That's when I noticed the basement door. It was in the kitchen, half hidden behind a hanging coat. Something about it drew me in. A draft seeped from the cracks, and that smell, the rotten, metallic stench, was strongest there. My hand moved before my brain could stop it. I opened the door. Wooden steps led down into darkness. My phone light cut through the black just enough to show damp stone walls. I took a step, then another. The air grew colder, thicker. At the bottom, shelves lined the walls, jars filled with murky liquid. Floating inside were things I can't unsee, fingers, teeth, eyes, their pupils clouded white. One jar held what looked like a child's tongue, swollen and gray. My stomach lurched. I stumbled back, and that's when I heard it. Footsteps. Upstairs. Heavy, dragging. Followed by Elise's voice, but lower, almost guttural. Chanting. Panic surged through me. I bolted up the stairs, slammed the basement door shut, and tried to compose myself. Elise appeared in the hallway. Her face was calm, but her smile had changed. Wider, strained. "Did you meet her?" she asked softly. "What?" My voice cracked. She tilted her head. "Mother. She likes when new people come. She smells them." My skin crawled. I mumbled something about being tired, about wanting to lie down. She studied me for a long moment before nodding. "Of course. The guest room is down the hall." She led me past a room with the door cracked open. I couldn't help glancing in. The room was dark, but I saw a bed. A shape lay in it, small, frail, covered with thin sheets. Stacks of plates were shoved under the bed, flies buzzing lazily around them. Elise caught me looking. Her smile widened. "Don't worry, she's sleeping." The guest room door creaked as I entered. She whispered, "I'll bring you blankets. Make yourself at home." Then she closed the door. I waited until I heard her footsteps fade. Then, I slipped out. I crept into the mother's room. The smell was unbearable. Rotting meat, sweat, something sour. My phone light flickered across the bed. The figure under the sheets didn't move. I edged closer, my eyes locked on the curtain hanging around the bed. Slowly, I pulled it aside. At first, I thought she was dead. Her skin was gray, her lips blackened, her eyes closed, but then her chest rose. Shallow, raspy. I froze, and then her head snapped toward me. Her eyes shot open, wide, white, and gleaming with something inhuman. Her mouth stretched into a grotesque grin, revealing jagged, yellowed teeth far too long to be natural. A sound came from her throat, not a moan, not a word, something between a laugh and a hiss. I stumbled back, tripping over the plates beneath the bed. They clattered, sending flies buzzing. Elise's voice rang out behind me. "She likes you." I turned. She was standing in the doorway, watching, her smile just as twisted as her mother's. I didn't think. I lunged for the window, yanking. It opened with every ounce of strength. The frame cracked, glass shattering as I hurled myself through. I hit the ground hard, pain shooting up my arm, but adrenaline kept me moving. I ran. Branches clawed at my skin as I tore through the forest. I didn't stop, not until headlights appeared on the distant road. A truck driver pulled over, and I begged him to take me anywhere. When I told the cops what happened, they searched the cabin. It was empty. No Elise, no mother, no jars, no bed, just dust, cobwebs, and rotting wood. According to county records, the place had been abandoned for over 20 years. But here's the thing. When they showed me the records, I saw a photo of the original owner, a woman named Elise Miller, who lived there with her invalid mother. Elise died in 1998. And yet, I still see her face. At night, in my dreams. Sometimes in my window reflection. And when I wake up, I swear I hear it. The slow, raspy breathing and nails scratching against my walls. I've been on Tinder long enough to know most matches go nowhere. A few awkward conversations, maybe a coffee date, and then ghosted. That's how it usually works. But then I matched with Evan. He stood out. His profile wasn't filled with bathroom, selfies, or drunken group shots. Instead, it had carefully curated black and white portraits, moody, raw, almost too perfect. His bio read, "I see what others don't." At first I rolled my eyes. Pretentious, right? But his pictures drew me in. One showed a woman brushing her teeth, water dripping down her chin. Another showed a man staring out of a cracked window, his reflection warped in the glass. They didn't look staged. They looked stolen. I should have swiped left. But loneliness is a dangerous thing. We matched instantly. His first message was simple. Your eyes would look beautiful in black and white. Normally, I'd ignore a line like that, but something about the way he phrased it felt genuine. We started talking. He wasn't pushy like other guys. He asked questions that made me feel interesting. What music I listened to when I couldn't sleep. My first memory of being afraid. He said he loved capturing moments people didn't know they were living. 2 weeks later, he invited me to his apartment. He wanted to cook for me. And, he said, I'll show you my unpublished work. The stuff no one else sees. His apartment was in a quiet building just outside the city. When he opened the door, I was hit by the smell of cleaning chemicals. Not food, not home. Just sterile emptiness. The space was minimalistic. White walls, bare floors, a single couch, a table with 2 chairs. It was almost too clean, like no one actually lived there. But the walls, every inch was covered with photographs. Black frames lined up perfectly, edge to edge. Dozens of faces staring at me. I froze in the doorway. At first I thought they were models, but as I looked closer, my stomach turned. They weren't posing. They weren't aware. A man shaving. A woman crying in her car. A kid sleeping on a couch. All of them caught in vulnerable private moments. I forced a laugh. Wow, your models are really natural. Evan stepped behind me, so close I could feel his breath. They're not models, they're real. I turned. He smiled proudly. I capture people when they don't know they're being watched. That's when you see the truth. My smile faltered. I wanted to believe he was joking. But his eyes, they weren't joking. We sat at the table. He poured wine, served pasta. I picked at mine, my appetite gone. Every few seconds his gaze drifted past me like he was studying how the light hit my face. I shifted uncomfortably. Finally I asked, "Have you ever been caught?" He chuckled. "Once." She was angry. But I apologized. Made it up to her. She understood in the end. Something about the way he said it made my skin crawl. After dinner, he said he wanted to show me his masterpiece. He led me to a door at the end of the hall. It had a lock. He pulled out a key. Even before he opened it, I smelled it. A thick, sour odor like rot soaked in chemicals. The door creaked open. The room was dimly lit by a single red lamp. In the center sat a chair, and on the chair was a woman. At first I thought she was alive. Her head was tilted, her eyes wide, staring at me. Her lips curved in a stiff smile, but her skin was gray. Her limbs swollen. Her body unnaturally still. Flies buzzed around her face. My stomach clenched. I whispered, "Oh my God." Evan's voice was soft, reverent. Beautiful, isn't she? Fear, trust, confusion, all frozen forever. I stumbled backward. "Is she dead?" He grinned. "Of course, but not to me. To me, she's perfect." My throat closed. I wanted to scream, but nothing came out. Then I saw it. Her jaw twitched. Slowly, her mouth sagged open, and, from the dark inside, maggots spilled out, writhing across her chin, dropping to the floor. I gagged, clapping a hand over my mouth. Evan's eyes gleamed. She didn't understand at first. None of them do. But when I finally showed her what, she became eternal. I couldn't move. My brain screamed, "Leave, leave now," but my legs locked. Then he said it. "I want to make one of you." That snapped me back. I bolted for the door. Evan lunged, grabbing my arm. I thrashed, knocking over a frame. Glass shattered. He hissed in frustration, I grabbed the closest thing I could, a fork from the table, and jammed it into his side. He howled, staggering just enough for me to tear free. I sprinted down the hall, yanked open the front door, and ran into the street screaming. A couple driving by stopped. I begged them to call the cops. They let me sit in their back seat while I shook uncontrollably. The police searched Evan's apartment that night. It was empty. The chair was gone. The body was gone. Most of the photos were gone. Only a few frames remained, hanging crooked. They told me the lease was fake. The name Evan didn't exist. Neighbors said he paid in cash, kept to himself. They searched for weeks. Nothing. I tried to move on. I told myself I was safe. But a month later, a package arrived at my door. No return address. Inside was a single photograph. It was me. Sitting in a cafe laughing with a coworker. Taken from outside the window. I dropped the photo, my hands shaking. And that's when I noticed the note scribbled on the back. Your eyes are even more beautiful in the daylight. Soon, I'll show you the truth. I matched with her late one night when I should have been asleep. Her username was strange. Devoted Blood. Not Sarah, not Jess. Not a normal name. Just that. Her profile picture was dark, almost hard to make out. A pale face, maybe. Long hair, eyes shadowed, the kind of picture you had to squint at. But she had swiped right on me, and in that moment, drunk on loneliness, I didn't care. Her bio only said, I'll always find you. I should have swiped left, should have laughed and moved on. But when you're desperate for connection, warning signs start to look like curiosities. So I messaged her. Hey, she replied instantly. I knew you'd be awake. I stared at my phone. Most people take hours to reply. But she answered like she was waiting. I tried to joke. Yeah, insomnia sucks. How'd you know? Because I'm always watching you. I froze. My brain told me it was a bad joke. Creepy flirting, that's all. I almost unmatched her, but something about the way she typed, it was magnetic. I couldn't look away. We talked until dawn. She knew things about me. Little things. My favorite band. The color of my car. Even the fact that I lived alone. I asked how she knew. Her response. I listen when no one else does. The next day, I told myself I'd delete Tinder. But when I opened the app, her message was waiting. Good morning. You looked peaceful. Last night, my stomach dropped. Peaceful. As in sleeping, I typed back, what do you mean? She didn't reply. Hours later, another message. I love how you twitch when you dream. I didn't sleep that night. Over the next week, she messaged constantly. Sometimes sweet, sometimes unsettling. Eat something. You forget when you're stressed. You shouldn't leave your windows open. Anyone could slip in. I hate when other people look at you. They don't deserve it. I stopped responding, but the messages kept coming. One night I got a text, not from Tinder, but my actual phone number. Why are you ignoring me? Don't you love me? I stared at the screen. My blood went cold. I hadn't given her my number. I went to the cops. They shrugged, said maybe it was a friend playing a joke. They told me to block the number, uninstall the app. So I did. I deleted Tinder, changed my number, tried to move on. For a few days, it worked. The silence was blissful, until I came home one night and found something on my doorstep. A Polaroid photo. It was me. Sleeping in my bed. The window in the background was cracked open. I didn't sleep at home after that. I crashed on friends' couches, booked cheap motels. But no matter where I went, she found me. Polaroids slipped under motel doors. Messages, written on bathroom mirrors in lipstick. Once a dead bird left neatly on the hood of my car, wings spread like a grotesque gift. Every time a note. I'll always find you. My friends started pulling away. I don't blame them. Who wants to be around someone with a stalker shadowing them? I stopped telling people where I was going. I kept everything secret. Still, she found me. The breaking point came 2 months later. I had rented a new apartment across town under a different name. I paid cash. No one knew where I lived. No one. On my first night there, I let myself breathe. Finally, I thought, finally, I'm safe. But when I opened the fridge to grab a beer, my breath caught in my throat. There, taped to the inside of the fridge door, was a Polaroid, me, standing in that very kitchen, holding my keys, smiling. The photo had been taken that morning. I dropped the bottle. Glass shattered across the floor. My knees buckled. I couldn't even scream. On the back of the photo, written in red ink, "I love you most when you don't know I'm there." I don't remember leaving the apartment, just running until my lungs burned. I've been on the move ever since. I don't stay anywhere longer than a night. I sleep in my car sometimes, though I'm afraid to close my eyes. Because every time I wake up, there's a new Polaroid on the dashboard, on the windshield, sometimes tucked gently between my fingers while I sleep, always of me, always recent. And last night I found something worse, not a photo of me, a photo of my parents' house through the window into their bedroom. I don't know how to stop her. I don't know if she's even real. Maybe she's something else, something that wears the face of a Tinder match but isn't human at all. All I know is that she meant it from the very beginning. She said it in her bio. "I'll always find you." And she has. And she will.